Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fantasy Take TV podcast after round 9. It is coming on this year, and we've finally had a good week, the boys, me and George. George has had more good weeks than me, but I think it's my first good week in about 5 weeks, so we'll talk about that in a sec. But we've got some topics today that we've got to have a quick chat about. So there's a few underperforming players. A lot of them, as I've said, for a few weeks are in my team, but there are some others that thankfully aren't, that we might have to talk about, and a couple that one of them actually traded out this week, which was good. But we've got to talk about them. Can we pay up now on some guys like Whitfield? I'm sure is going to be a big topic this week, but the cash on the bench is looking pretty grim. So me and George will try and decipher whether we think we can pay up for someone around that price, or do we have to keep going on the cheap guys. Rookie situation, as I said, looking pretty dire, so we'll talk about that. What value primos we like, and then we're going to do a quick shout out to one of our members in the Discord, Hammy. He's got the Footy scores going up pretty well now, so we'll go over our week quickly, George, and then we'll show Hammy's website and what he's got going at the moment. And it's actually got a lot of good stuff on there, so he's put a lot of work into it. So we'll show that in a sec. But quickly, George, how'd you go, mate, this week?
Good. Not as good as you, but still take a good week. 2, 5, 4, 7, which was good. Trades were got rid of Daniel and Chera. Not really sure if that was the right move beforehand. Maybe a bit lucky with Chera, but got rid of those two for Chad Warner and don't ask Josh Dacos off a 5-day break. See how he goes, but I think I have the trades to flip him. Trading in a flippable player at 480k is probably not the smartest thing, but we'll move on and hope this good run he has pays off. But yeah, you look at a Zorko, Sinclair, which I think I couldn't afford Sinclair. I could have got Zorko or Holmes. Just went nuts. So that's all right. MVP this week, our man, Josh Dunkley.
Our man.
Yeah.
You've only for 2 weeks and you've already got a 130 that
I think he's dropped to 500
would never come
for me. So
yeah, good, very good. George, tough week, mate. I mean, you probably had more than me, but when you have to actually have a look at your team and try and pick an MVP, I mean, for weeks gone by, I've just been like, I don't even have one. So,
a few to choose from this week though, which will be good. But yeah, no, I was happy with Dunkley, and he's playing really well. I said when I was doing the review, I hope he's all Australian this year because he hasn't got one, and I think he deserves one. He's always been like the AA squad level player.
Never got one. Yeah, damn.
He's playing really, really well. Like having massive influence for them. So I do like that. Fault of the week. Oh, geez, I think a M8 for a lot of people probably would have dropped off, whether it was a Hewitt, a Hustwaite, even a Lindsay. 71's okay, but Cleary, like, oh my goodness.
Anyone else but a rookie?
I don't really think I have one this week. I guess Roberto.
Yeah.
Bad ratio, and all of a sudden it's like, is he keeper? Is he not keeper? Well, there's just too many good defenders that he has to go with. I think it's like budget okay, D6, but I think you want better there if you want to.
And can he just get to his buy? I think.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, we'll give that to Roberto. But yeah,
otherwise going all right. Yeah,
not too bad. I think it held the Reed and Levi. A lot of people would have traded maybe one of them.
Yeah.
Zach Reed, unbelievable. Like when a cheap player starts doing well, you're like, is this primo? Surely not. But anyway, how did you go this round?
Yeah, Zach Reed, I mean, he's almost MVP, I guess, for a lot of people. Just rough. Like my trades, I traded out prior, so just one that's that was probably the downer of the week, which usually there's more downers than that, so I can't complain too much. But yeah, cracked the 2600. I don't know, like I just needed one of these weeks where everything fell into place. Like I just thought it would never come, to be perfectly honest, with all these guys like Sarong and Dunks, and he's obviously pulled his finger out now, but just watching Max Gawn go bananas every week. Haven't hit a captain in ages, so Cherry finally being fully fit and actually having someone to captain has been unreal. So what did I do? I've been like, I don't know why, but hoarding boosts for a while. So I've finally sort of used one, or used two the last 2 weeks. and I traded out Daniel with you. As soon as I saw you trade out Daniel, mate, I had to follow suit because I remember 3-4 years ago you traded him out the week he scored 19. I was like, your timing with him's just unmatched. So I had to follow suit with that. Had to get track because again I was stupidly late on that by probably 2 weeks. So got him in for 520k. Prior, as I said, I went out and the rookie that came in was Boxall, and that obviously probably a mistake at this point. But once sort of knew he wasn't sub on Friday, he was just the one I went. Already had Huswaite. Just was really busy Saturday. Had no idea about Sard that like he wouldn't be sub, and I guess if I did and it was a bit more attuned to that, I probably would have switched. But yeah, already locked in Boxall on the Friday night. And then I did Flynn out as well, out of the flex, and sort of just I was, rookie on field, sort of behind, had extra one than most people because I've sort of been hoarding the boosts. So just did that, got Flynn up to someone sort of with the BJ news that sort of just made me pull the trigger, and I got in Eddie Richards, the old big red. So I don't know.
Nowhere. I don't think we spoke about him last week.
No, I just went a bit rogue. I thought my season was, not having too much fun. So I got a little bit of a pick like that, and there's obviously merit to it. He's playing like 65, 70% in the midfield and looking really good. And Treloar, I'm not sure what's up with him. One game back and sort of injury problems have hurt him a bit, and they're playing really well in there. So I don't know, maybe Bond has to play a bit more forward for them, since Darcy's out and Norton just can't find any form. So yeah, I think Eddie's got his midfield role locked up pretty well. Didn't actually watch the game, so I'll just take the score that he got. But yeah, MVP, George, as I said off the top, I haven't had a week where I've got like so many to choose from. Like Geordie Clark, the missionary man, repaying the faith for the 60 week before, just evening out as he always does.
A few more of these, and he's going to lose that tag.
Dunks, as you said, but I guess it's got to be Cherry, man, with the 186 captain. Just like when we're watching Gawn go berserk, the big X has been able to stand up the last few weeks. So I mean, those two, if you've got those two in your ruck line, you're literally just laughing. Like they're both like 150 plus for the last 5 rounds on average. It's just ridiculous. So yeah, all of us, even if we have one or the other that can't get the other, it's just like, man, when are we going to get them? And people who sort of got them, the one they didn't have in at the right time or just started both, they're just, laughing, as I said. So, fault, I don't know. I guess the rookie, I mean, Chera, 83, but obviously had to go to defense for a bit. Matty Roberts, when it's a week like that, don't really have many to choose. Probably myself for the fielding, Huswaite over Lindsay, I guess, but rough, I guess. I don't know. Lindsay hadn't done too much recently. So just a quick detour from the pod. We did speak about this next section about footy scores, but I sort of stuffed up the share screen and only shared one Chrome tab, so it's sort of missing a bit of the vision. So I'll just go through it myself. Post record, I'll just add this in. So this is Hammy's website. He's from the Discord. He's quite a whiz with all the coding stuff, and there's been a project of his for a little bit, and he's sort of slowly improved it to the point where now it's just really got a lot of good features that a lot of us go to a few different sources and websites to sort of get what we want to know, but he sort of put that all as one. And so it's footyscores.net, and then you just got, similar to fan footy, you got all the scores and sort of leaderboards from every game, live scoring obviously as it happens, but there's just some extra features that really sort of set it apart. So simple one, but really nice is that you can favorite all the players that you own. So Geordie Clark, for instance, unfortunately I own Sarong and not Brayshaw, but that's an easy way to keep track of your players. But when you actually do click on them, and you do just click the star up here to do that, you get everything. So you get the heat map, and you just get more than just your main stats. You get all this stuff on the main one here is sort of what you can get. But then when you go to the advanced tab, you can get the kick-ins, you can get whether you got contested mark or spoils or score involvements. For Ruckman, for instance, if we go to DC, you get ruck contests, hit outs to advantage, even pressure acts and 1%ers and stuff like that. So stuff that actually can make up someone's SuperCoach score or whatnot, more than just the raw data or raw stats, or the main counting stats, I mean, that you sort of get anywhere. You can see there. And then if you scroll down on all the games, and for centre bounces and sort of kick-ins, they do only appear post the game, but to have it on the, if you want to review at the end of the week, just to be able to click on every game and just get all this information in one spot. It really is nice. So yeah, you can see all the center bounces, kick-ins, split. That's sort of the live goals and behinds as you go. Your main team stats. And then he does have a little few icon glossaries of, 8 turnovers, get the clown symbol. But this is really nice. He's just recently added where you can get the projected prices for the next round. So once their score sort of locked in, you'll see, the new price, the new break even, and sort of how much they went up or down. So that's really, really nice as well. And then if you go back to the homepage, there's also past games. So you sort of got this year and last year added in right now. I think he'll eventually get to further back than that. But if you just go on a players page, for instance, if we just go to Cherry, you can sort of see all their, season summary on one spot, but also all their games in just one spot. You can sort of just click on them, drop down box, the heat map comes up and all those stats, for every game they've played for the last 2 years. So you go all the way back to 2024. But yeah, just to really get the full picture of a player you're maybe looking at bringing in or whatnot, all in one place is really, really nice. So yeah, it's fantastic work by Hammy, and I believe he's got an app coming out, or it's sort of already out, but it's sort of fine tuning the works of that. You get notifications when your players turn up. Obviously, you can turn that on or off, but stuff like that, sub in, sub outs. You can even turn on major stats, like when someone gets all those stats are available. Say if you want to know if your ruckman got a hit out to advantage, or someone got a goal assist or a goal, or all that sort of stuff. So really cool stuff that he's doing, and yeah, be sure to check it out. It's footyscores.net. So back to the podcast. Yeah, so some underperforming players. All right, we'll talk about Daniel, I guess, George, off the top. As we said, we both traded him heading into last round, and obviously it's very not lucky, but there was some merit to it, and he scores the 50 on the weekend.
We needed that badly because he's 95% still owned.
Yeah, I had Hustwaite drop off, and I had to cop Hewitt's 33. But if people had him and those guys, they had to cop a couple of those scores. So that obviously helped me too this week. I mean, I've been on the wrong end of that most weeks, but yeah. What did you see? Like, why did you trade him out? What was your initial thoughts? And then for people who still have him, what's your advice going forward?
Well, I think Sheasel and Hardiman have gone back there, and Hardiman's looked really good. And I think Daniel had 10 touches really early, and then barely touched it for the rest of the game. Had a few like free kicks or kick-ins, which helped his scoring. Just watching him, like he only can get fed the ball. It's like the only way he gets it, or kick-ins. They're not really looking for him. He's not really doing much with the ball. He's sort of just getting it in the pocket and kicking as long as he can. And then we've just got, Chad Warner's come in getting 70+% CBAs. Nick Martin's moved to halfback, which I guess not sure that sticks, but if it does, we know he can do 105 plus in that role. He can do similar at half forward too, but just figured I don't think he's going to be top 6. And yeah, I think the writing was on the wall, just usage is going down and down. I think when you took away his kick-ins last week, I think he had under, I think it was round 8. Took away his kick-ins, he would have had under 15 touches. So I think I saw this coming, I think. Not like this bad, but slow decline where, like, if I were to guess before this week, I would have said he's probably going to average somewhere in the 80s now for the rest of the season. So also in the back of my mind, I don't know if they persist with him. Maybe they do. I don't know. So I just thought I'd get out now, hopefully get a jump. And yeah, were you thinking similar? I don't know if you watched him much the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I just sort of wanted to get, I had to get track in, and all my other forward spots were kind of taken. So I wasn't thinking too heavily about, I thought he would be a bit, and he probably still is. Like, it might just be one of his downer games on the weekend, and he's got Richmond this week. So that's obviously another point people are probably going to look to if they got other people to trade, or want to get upgrades elsewhere and sort of not use him as an avenue. So I don't hate holding one more. I think the break even's like 120, so it's a bit dicey if he obviously drops another really poor one. Wait, how many touches did he end up with? Like, was it
also,
even
I think he had a bit of a nose issue as well, so it was on the bench for a bit.
Yeah, that happened as well. So I don't know. I still think you can do around like the 85, 90 sort of range, and like isn't a must trade out. But then I don't know if you mentioned it, but the buy as well that he's got with all those teams, we've got quite a few players from. That just sort of tipped me over the edge where I was like, I'm just going to get rid of him now. And obviously, yeah, pretty lucky with what he scored on the weekend, but yeah, I don't think he's anywhere near like, especially with the forward options we've got now, George. Like he won't be like a mile off, but I think there's clearly like probably 7 to 8 guys I would say that you'd want over him in your forward line.
Yeah, and very much bit of a theme this year is like getting rookies off hasn't been as important because a lot of rookies are scoring pretty well and we're getting one drop off and we're just trying to look after the cash. So yeah, I think Cherry had 130 break even or something like that. So it might as well trade a non-keeper than trade a rookie. Pretty much all my rookies that aren't dead went up in price. So yeah. As we said, like, the rookies coming through. They're all getting like half my bench scored 30 basically. So
yeah.
Just trying to look after the cash really. So I'm in the trade now camp. The run is really good. I'm still trading like 120 break even, and that bad score still going to be in his cycle again. You could hold. I am in the camp. Like he's not a keeper. He has to go at some point. Why not when it's a 120 break even? And his last 5 games have been pretty poor.
Yep. I didn't realize I got West Coast in a couple of weeks as well after Richmond, so it makes it a bit harder to pull the trigger, I guess. But
even if he goes well, like you're going to get a player scoring better than him anyway, most likely in the forward line.
Yeah. Cherry, you mentioned before, so yeah, you traded him as well. I've still got him.
Really, but yeah.
I had to play defense pretty much from second half.
Earlier than that.
Earlier than that, was it in the second quarter? Yeah, okay. Gov and Cowan going down. So, look, I guess for our defense bench that Carroll should come back in, and I wouldn't expect Cherry to, with a brand new 22 picked for the next week, they'll bring in some defenders and he won't be starting there. But I guess that was always a possibility with him. I guess no one else in the midfield is someone you're going to chuck down back or whatnot. It was always going to be him. But he took a couple of kick-ins. I guess he just didn't find it as much as the ball as he would have in the midfield. So I think you can still hold him. Break Evans, 118. The Swans have been fine to score on this year. It's just his very next match. But yeah, I'll be more inclined to hold him than a Daniel if you had both still. And look, both are probably not keepers like we're saying. But I don't know. I still trust someone more like him playing in the midfield than what Daniel can dish up sometimes. So I don't know. It's tough because of the fixture with Daniel George. But what would you say in that sense if you still had both and you wanted to trade one this week?
No, I'm trading Daniel. Cherry in the midfield can still do 105, 100 to 105 or whatever it is. If I hear reports that he's playing defense to cover during the week, I'd probably trade for sure. That being said, I would be surprised if that happens because he's their midfielder. It was more of a mid-game fix sort of thing.
Yeah, have to. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm okay holding.
Okay.
Cherry, but I'd be trading Daniel.
Both those guys gone by their buy, though?
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Cherry, you might be able to hold, like, got West Coast North after his buy. Essendon, West Coast North. I mean, you could definitely hold that.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting.
I feel like they've played these teams already. They have.
West Coast North, yeah. The Carlton.
It's rigged. Anyway.
All right, we'll move on from them. There's probably a lot of others we could speak about, underperforming guys, but there's probably a couple in the targets list, so we'll save it till then. Gawn and Cherry. We sort of obviously spoke about it at the start. I think last week, Gawn was gone probably 2 weeks ago. We already watched that ship sail.
7:30. Oh my god.
Well, I was looking, George. It was the week we both got so wrong, mate. That's the week we should have got Gawn in the flex, and I think it's like almost 300 points difference. Plus, we would have captained Gawn, no doubt. So yeah, 400-500 point difference for what Sarong's dished up, especially me because I've bloody captained Sarong. I know you haven't for about 4 weeks, so
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the week when Max, like, is it a lesson that when they drop to this sort of like Uber guys like this that we know can go 120 plus 130 in this instance, these guys, and over 5 weeks, bloody 150. When they drop below 600, is like obviously it's case by case, and the variance that these guys are going at right now is off the charts. But do we just have to get them when they're at that price?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Like
just trying to
Jacobs
add
as
it up
well
now.
included in that. Bond
Yeah.
Butters, if they ever get near that, we've just got to grab them.
I mean, 560 for Gawn, knowing what he can do, was pretty wild price. I guess we'll learn it for next year. Just ignore the age until we actually see it consistently in terms of the drop off. So I think lesson for next year. Probably won't start him next year. Just because of the like magic number and stuff. Hope him come down a bit early if that happens. But yeah, it's needed to put a high priority. Well, I think this is sort of more interesting because I know he has a bye, but he has 71 break even against Nank, who gives up points. He's got Collingwood. Then after the bye, he has West Coast and Freo as well. And Jackson gives up points, and Darcy's been on managed minutes.
Yep.
I think I don't know when you're going to get him. It's similar for us with Gawn. Like, how are we supposed to get this? It's just hopefully late in the buys he comes down to 650 or something. This is, I'd actually consider 680 for this because this is significant captain scores. I'd genuinely consider it like fixture post buy, and I guess he does have the buy, but yeah, 70 break even. What, you're going to pay an extra 50k, 60k?
Why'd you talk me out of Gawn when he was 630 and dropped to 200? Nah, I'm kidding. But I think you were against it. A couple of us were looking at it. It did seem stupid. Like the cash that we are really lacking is gonna. You can't pay up for too many guys, but I guess guys like Cherry, who's he's still different to Gawn. Gawn's he's the greatest ruckman, SuperCoach ruckman, probably ruckman in general that I know at least we've ever seen in our lifetime. But Cherry's sort of in his prime, and I know he's had the injury already this year, but he's played through it, averaged 90 through the 3-week period. Without those games, he's averaging 150, George. Like in the 7 games, or I think it's what is it, 6 games that he wasn't technically injured or playing through injury, he's 150 average. Like he's in the prime of his career. He's worked his ass off to get to this position. Like finally got his chance, and the man is a machine. Like that second half was ridiculous.
He broke the record.
Yeah. SuperCoach wise broke the record, but just watching the game, you're like, this man is willing in his team. Like they should have won that game North. And it was just all off the back of him. Like he just mauled Big O in the second half, and I don't know. He's just not as surprised by that. But Big O's usually pretty competitive, and he was in the first half. But X just worked him over in the second half. I don't know. I kind of agree with you, George. In maybe in any other year where our bench just didn't look like they did, you probably just do it. But like if you had a Gawn and like TDK, I just don't think you do it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just too much money. But man, like you said, the next few weeks, I don't know. Very, very tough one. If you had both, like I said off the top, laughing at all of us, man. Just BC and C every week. It's like the Gawn and Grundy of old, man.
And just on captains as well, like I think Sherry plays late, but Boyd plays after him. Well, I think there's slight overlap. There's slight overlap. Oh no, sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, game should be done.
Yeah, the game we're done. Yep.
And then you
I'm going to put the VC on him and Captain Dunkley at halftime.
Well, we got McRae or one of the Saints halfbacks as well.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm just going to
will be fine.
This week, I'm not going to whinge about taking a Brayshaw VC, but I think the VC needs to be on Gawn or Sherry.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Can't be taking 130s when this is happening.
I have neither of them, but the people who VC'd Brayshaw got mugged by 30 points, whereas the ones who went Dacos got like it's just how it rolls, man.
How it goes. That's all right. But yeah,
funny.
I think we spoke enough about Sherry, but yeah,
we have.
He has to be VC this week, like unless you go for like a random guy with a 200 seal. I think like maybe Chad Warner pulls a 170 out his ass or something, but
We'll talk about captains, but that's just
Yeah.
Rookies, George. So yeah, as we said, I mean, do you want to talk about the ones who we think might be time to go, or the ones that we could trade in? Because I don't know what'll be quicker. Like,
I mean, it's been hard to trade a lot of the good rookies. Like I got rid of. I mean, fortunately, as we spoke about before, I've got Reed and Levi still, especially Reed. But I did get rid of a Pryor who's kickstarted again. I got rid of Max Hall for 250. I don't even. He must be like pushing 350 now.
really?
He's 320. So, oh no.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been hard. Like pretty much everyone's gotten rid of. You mean surely people have gotten rid of someone early. So I think Bice can go. Like yes, he's got a good run, but he's also got 100 and something break even. I think it was 102.
Yep.
So even though the run's nice, I think you can get up to a nice premium, like a 500k defender. So I think that's a nice swap there. Maxed out most likely. Levi can stay for one. I think just watching Levi, I said in my review that he was playing in Darwin. He was playing in Tassie rather, but it did look very tight at the end. So they had to bench him.
Yeah, was he statless or like one handball in the fourth quarter? Something
Very
like that.
quiet in the fourth. I mean, he'll rest up. He'll be right. But you do wonder, like sometimes rookies can hit walls at times. So not saying he is, but we just saw he was pretty gas in the fourth quarter. But he's been brilliant for us. He's 50 break even. I'm quite happy to hold for one more and field. Another one is Flynn, not a rookie, but Flynn. So you got rid of him last week. Played pretty well in the fourth quarter, really well.
A lot of clunks, which against Richmond.
Marks too.
You can take some marks against Richmond. I mean, what's he got, Rowan? I mean, there's points to be scored there. I think if you held through the week just gone, I'm not gonna hate on you holding him again. 97 break even. So like, yeah, I can't imagine him going like too poorly to where he's losing cash. But yeah, I think you can hold him, mate. I don't think he's a must trade.
I think I'm going to trade because it gets me Whitfield, which is greedy because I could get rid of a worse rook and get Sinclair. That buy's no good for me. Regardless, I think, as you said, I think it's fine hold. If he's named with BJ in the team, I'd be like a bit more comfortable trading. But the ruck split wasn't like only a little bit less ruck time than usual for Flynn.
Yeah.
BJ was mostly just forward.
What about? I'll just put like Elijah Hewitt. Disappointing. I got him in at sort of the elevated price. He's made 100 something K since I've got him in. Like obviously a lot more for you, the rest of you who sort of started him or whatnot. And we really need him to kick on from that. With that 90 the week before.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I mean, I was watching the game. To be honest, I don't even know why he went so poorly. I thought he got a fair bit of the ball. I guess he just butchered it. How many did he get in the end? Oh, only 13 touches. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm happy to hold one more still. Like I still think he's a good field option. Maybe the Saints isn't actually great of a matchup. They'll probably bog the game down a fair bit as they usually do. I think he's fine to trade if you can get an upgrade through him instead of like someone else that you want to hold instead. So, what do you think?
Looking at projected, if he scores a 70 and a 60, he makes 3K.
Yeah, he won't make much, but it'll sort of reset the break even. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe yeah.
Then a whole bunch of 60s. Yeah, he's not going to make much more with a whole bunch of 60s. I'm going to hold for one more. I think it's okay to probably trade because this 33 has pretty much killed his cash gen when we need to start cashing in for premiums now. So, okay holding, probably okay trading.
Yeah.
He's got the ceiling to do well, though, so I think it's...
Yeah, who knows? Could pull a... That's why if I can do whatever trades I want to do with holding him, I think it's worth it. You just never know. He might pop out. He scored the 90 week before. He scored was it another 90 or did he ton that game?
No, 97
against Essendon. Yeah, so who knows? Pulls one of them out, then it's like properly can restart the cash gen. But how long do you want to wait around for that?
Also, just one more, maybe for next week. Huswaite with Nash coming back in might get to like 200k. Might be one to get rid of then.
Yeah. That's annoying too. Didn't watch that game, but obviously saw he got subbed. So yeah, damn. Guess he's always the threat of that. Been subbed a few times, starting sub Sammy Mitchell.
Yeah.
So I don't know, something probably missing from his game that he doesn't like, but unfortunate. Hopefully, just gets a game. Yeah, one more this week. Plays a full game, doesn't get subbed, and then whatever happens after that happens. And then George, the rooks that we have on offer to come in, it's not looking good. I guess our Hall is the one that we want to talk about. I think looking like I didn't realize, but looking a lot of people actually did get him. The weekend just gone. Once they found out he wasn't subbing, and he put out a good game. What he ended with like almost 20 touches and a goal. Obviously, Essendon played pretty well.
Possessed the ball a lot.
Does he stay in? I mean, I'd like to think he does. He's got like the wing spot right of Harry Jones since his ankle injury. But again, do you fully know? I guess we never will. Like, you assume he played well enough, but
they've had quite a few injuries this year. Just like there's a few names that could be sub. Like they use Shearer as sub. Daywicks could easily be sub. They could bring Silas in as sub. So I think there's potential that he stays in, but I am pretty nervous about the sub risk going forward. I don't know. They've been using I think mids when it hasn't been a Hawley as sub, so I'm probably going to grab him this week, and it's a bit of we're hoping that he's not sub. I think it's
need another rook.
Lewis Hayes was the one. But
poor
guy, his ACL. But everyone else is like not looking good either. So it's like might be the best of the worst batch. So my plans at the moment, as long as he's not sub, and we'll know Saturday night. It's a bit late. He's in my plans at the moment. I'm just thinking if there's a plan B if he's sub.
Probably we have to wait till teams to see who's on Sunday is an option. If there would be any, but one to speak about later.
Rasmus plays Saturday afternoon.
Well, here's the next one. I mean, what ended up, he was starting sub, so is there actually a spot for him?
I read comments from Freo supporters on this. Some are like, let's give him a run. Let's drop Johnson because his ball use has been poor. They're running, like they've been having like Narkle, I think, as a sub or whatever. Who they use that defender in the midfield? Wagner. They've been putting Wagner in the midfield as well. So they're not showing a lot of faith in him. No, Nathan O'Driscoll, I think, will come back. They could use him on the inside. So I think the sub risk, I mean, it's there for most of these guys, but might be a little too high with O'Driscoll coming back. I think maybe what the coaches think and what other people might think might not be the same because it's pretty clear to me that they're quite hesitant to give him opportunity. It could happen, but they've had a lot of chances this year to give him that opportunity, and it hasn't really happened. It's a hard one. I'll probably pass on that one for now. But
I mean, it's like
I think there's a chance. Yeah,
it's like the most pivotal. I mean, obviously early's pivotal too, but if you miss the rookie now that makes like 150K, it's going to be pretty detrimental.
He can definitely do it with opportunity.
Yeah, he can definitely do it with opportunity. I think El Hawley's probably one that can too, if not, given a vest in the next 3-4 weeks.
Yeah.
Because they do have Richmond coming up, for any player on any part of the ground. That's a good matchup.
Yeah.
But it is hard, George. Like, I think we said last week, and sorry to anyone who went him early. I think I know Locke did, but Fonty, like, we'll speak about him next. But I watched the game. I didn't look too hard for him. I obviously didn't notice him much because he didn't get a lot of the ball. And it's not like it's like Stone as well, right? Like Stone, just because he wasn't scoring well doesn't mean he was playing poorly. But everyone's like, oh, the 1 week he scored 80, then he gets dropped. What the hell? Like, just because he got 10 more possessions doesn't mean he didn't have other parts of his, I think people look too far into, especially like a defender, like their SuperCoach score. So, maybe Fonty's still doing everything right and he'll still stay in the team, but he probably maybe slightly overestimated his scoring ability. And when he's 160K, like elevated price, probably, even if he does stay in this week, probably points him towards a no-go zone. But, again, it's tough. He showed he could, he scored 70 his first game. So if he was picked, it'd be one to think about. But it's like elevated price.
I mean, the VFL scores aren't that high, which is probably the worry. Stones were much higher last year. I think obviously he's probably fighting Stone for that spot. Did he do enough to keep it? I didn't actually watch, so I'm not too sure. I was watching the other game, like much worse game, I think. Can't remember.
Yeah, the Tigs one. I mean, every game was good, so.
Yeah, anyway, it's hard to go there now when he's put that score up.
Yep.
He was in my plans after Hayes went down. My plans were Hayes and Cooper Simpson. But fortunately, we got another look at Fonte, and he was back up for that. So probably going to pass at this stage now. Just needed a bit more points on the board there.
O'Connell from St Kilda, so he played early in the year. I remember took that really courageous mark, then sort of, didn't he get like a head knock or something? He's been out for a few weeks. Now he's back in. As of the last, 2 weeks, scored 240s. I mean, look, it's bottom of the barrel stuff, but if he stays in the team, it is one that's there as an option. His break-even's in the negative, so, maybe he's the one if he's not subbed to go. I know
6 touches
there too. I know. It's real.
Not enough scoring power.
Yeah,
I mean, we haven't seen it. If we saw something in the VFL, like numbers-wise, that was good, we could maybe consider, but there's no evidence.
Best I saw from him, I think he kicked like 3 goals in the Pracky game way back in whenever that was against Carlton, but obviously that's pre-season footy. So then a couple more we've got. So Bo Allen, I mean, I've had him on my bloody bench all year. Comes in for one game, gets suspended. So
I'm waiting on that one.
We'll see if he comes back. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. Who knows? And then, he's still got obviously one more game to play before he's on the bubble. So definitely would wait on that if he does come back in, unless truly there's nothing else and no Hooley sub or whatever. And then, you've mentioned him a few times, Simpson George. So, played his first game. Was drafted as a forward, right? And then sort of been pushed to defence this preseason.
And dropped as a mid potentially.
Mid-forward type. And then, push to defence. I think there's fairly decent raps on how he went on the weekend.
Used it well for the most part.
Yeah. So
I watch it. I watch Freo for obvious reasons because half my team is Freo. But they're struggling to move it out of defence without Jordan Clark, and I think he's a good user. I think they persist. I guess the issue is they like to shuffle things around. Like Wagner moves into the midfield. Does he go back? That's something I need another week to actually answer properly. So probably wouldn't go early. He's in my plans for next week, though, all going well.
Yeah, same for me, man. I got Joe Berry chilling at F8. I need to get that place fixed up.
Yeah.
All right, look, a few rookies we've talked about there. None really stand out as smash options. I mean, we thought Huswaite. I mean, you had to go him last week as the number one option. Obviously, that didn't pan out great. But I guess we'd have Al Hooley there at this current point in time. He's 155K or whatever he is. So, we'll wait till teams. I'm sure you'll talk about it later in the week.
Did we speak about Boxall?
Oh, no. Did we? Oh, no, I think we skipped him. I mean, I got him. I know a few got him early. I was one of them. What did he end with? Like less than 50% tog? Like this guy's like worse than Sardis.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know why they bother playing.
Yeah, there's no point playing someone like that, is there, if you're going to get in that type of tog. So
I was listening to Ross Lyon's press conference, I think about 2/3 of the way in, spoke about Philippou, and he said we'll look to inject Philippou in the midfield more. Someone comes out.
He's behind Garcia, then it's him, man. Yeah.
It's probably Boxall. I think Ross also gave a bit of a clip to Boxall and Garcia, like a very.
I heard like
he's like, I still had a good matchup with, I think it was Hewitt, and Walsh was good with McRae or something like that. I'm not sure it was the exact, but it was like 1-for-1s, and then he's like, Or then we got Chera, who played back anyway against Boxall, and that's sort of where
we got the chocolate. Yeah, I think you said like
end.
we got the chocolates last week, but they didn't this
Yeah.
week or something. Yeah, look,
Yeah.
Ross is brutally honest.
Yeah,
and which is fair, but yeah, tough. He's named and not sub. Look, he's someone you can go, but it's like, man, I feel like his time's limited. You'd
think the sub risk is there. Yeah,
and the sub risk is there. Yeah, he probably seems prime to be starting sub, I would say.
I think they might persist though.
Hey, he's hoping, man, because I got him.
Yeah, it's very hard to read, and
a lot of these rookies are
team sheets. Yeah,
a lot of them are. There's not really any smash hit picks at the moment. I mean, we can talk about Thomas Sims if you want. I saw some Richmond fan calling me young Jack Rewald. I'm like, calm the farm, just because he's like pasty white. He looked all right. Like first quarter and a half, I reckon he looked all right. Good contest, but yeah, I don't think I noticed him after that. But hey, I think he'll keep playing. That's the main thing, because since he picked Samson, like I don't know why he dropped Jacob Blight like a month ago, and then we haven't seen him again. I still don't know why. Then he picked Samson to like play the second ruck role. He got injured or whatever, and then he's gone. Then he didn't bring anyone in. He just let Lynch and Jonty fall as the two tall forwards, and let Camden, Buddy McIntosh relief the name when he's on the bench. Like, that's just ridiculous. So maybe this kid wasn't ready yet. He's had a few weeks in the VFL, because he's like more of a second ruck forward than like a tall, like he's not really a key forward. He was sort of picked as a second ruck.
Okay.
Forward, so he's can do a bit in the ruck. So maybe he stays in. I can't expect he'll score too well, especially playing for us. I think what he scored.
Looking at VFL scores.
I don't even think he got like 6 hit outs last week against Box Hill. I think Ned Reeves just cooked them.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, he's there. If I was to get him, which I might. It's at R3. Getting him in your forward bench, I don't know if that's
keep him for the year
play, but
maybe fluke a score in the buys or something.
I don't know, but yeah, tough scenes at the moment, George. We spent a lot. I don't know how long on rookies then, and there's nothing really standing out. So we'll see. We'll see the team sheets, and I'm sure you'll have something to say then. All right, now the more fun part. We'll talk about actual players that we want to target bringing in, because there's quite a few. Quite a few at really nice prices. I'll speak about a few of them. A lot of them are in my team. So we'll start with defense, George. I think we can talk about Whitfield. He's not really a value play. He's at $5.90 with like a 130 break even. He's there if you think you can sort of survive and still get whatever upgrades you need to get done in the coming weeks, because how many guys that price can you sort of pay for? So I mean, we both think he's probably D1, but we're not going to talk about him as a value option. So I think it's just totally up to you and your team.
Not that much more than these guys.
He's not. He's like 40K more
60,
than
80.
probably one that we're going to talk about, and the rest are some of them are 100K cheaper, or 90K. So look, he's there. We won't speak too much on him, because I think we don't need to analyze Whitfield.
He's going to have to get him at some point anyway.
He's been a premium scorer in defence for years. But so have a few of these other guys. So Sinclair, I stupidly got in a couple of weeks ago before he dropped. He's at, what is he now? 530 basically. His break evens 106, and then we can speak about him and Nas together. I think, George. I mean, it's tough if you have neither, like, and you only had room for one. Which direction you go? Yeah, I think that's been the common theme I can see.
So much easier to for Nas.
They really do feed him. I don't know what their disposal averages are, but I can imagine Nas's must be higher. Yeah, pushing 30 this year. He's just everywhere. He gets up the ground too, so he's prone to clangers. Like with these more touches that he's getting, we know he loves to take the hard kick. He actually tries to create for them up the ground, so the clangers can happen with Nas. But I think that massive ceiling game's coming soon, and it may be this week. So you reckon he's a better buy than Sinclair for 20K more? Is that where you sit?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who still thinks this, but Sinclair did the hammy in pre-season, so it just adds like a little bit more risk. Like I've been burnt by that.
Didn't Nas get a little injury on the weekend or something?
17 thinking. Sorry,
didn't Nas get a little injury on the weekend?
Did he? He rolled his ankle or something. He
Something.
went for a mark in the goal square or something.
Yeah,
and
but I'm
he
just saying,
landed it
you'll brush that under the rug.
Yeah.
But you'll talk about Sinclair's little niggle from February.
Yeah. Anyway, I think they're
Nah,
both.
fair.
I think they're both top 6, if not thereabouts. And
Yeah.
there's just a lot of good guys that can, like Whitfield 1, and then 2 to 9 is like throw a blanket.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd be happy with either. I'd probably take Nas, but yeah, I'd take either. Like very happy with either.
Yeah. So you're saying Nas though, if gun to your head, I'm probably the same. I was starting him. I don't know why I took him out late. I mean, I got Holmes instead. Obviously, hasn't been as good. But I got Sinclair, and I'm still looking at getting Nas too. Like this week, especially for this fixture. Like I'll get Whitfield eventually. Roberts, can't see myself holding past his buy. I just want him to get there without dropping too much cash. So I don't know. I think owning both would be nice, George. Like they are literally the two guys they look for all across the ground.
Well, yeah, my plans are probably to get both in Whitfield.
Yeah.
Whether that's actually achievable is another story, but certainly 2 of them is achievable.
All right. Let's talk about ones that maybe if people are maybe a bit strung out on some more cash.
Maybe you speak on Holmes.
Yeah. Look, really disappointing those 2 weeks, both at the G. I believe they were against Carlton and Collingwood, right? I don't know. Like sometimes he does go missing a bit. He's not obviously a contested inside clearance winner, and I think when Geelong aren't on top in that area, he may go missing a bit. Baz is never going to go missing because the man's running power is ridiculous, and so is Holmes's. But like Baz just works into every position on the ground that he could possibly get a touch from. Like if any tall in their team marks it, then you just have to count to 2, and you'll see this headband with long blonde hair run past because he'll be there, like to get the receive, or he'll be the guy they're kicking to, running into open space. So Baz is ridiculous. Whereas sometimes I think Max, he sort of is a true centerman where he'll sort of stay in the middle of the ground, or if the ball's getting transitioned against Geelong, he'll sort of be the one that's pushing deep back in defence and not, say they win the ball back in the middle of the ground. Max is like already pushed back to defence to help. And he's not around the sort of contest where they might win the ball back, and then it just, goes back inside 50. So sometimes Max can go missing in that sense, but I don't know. He can have these games I think he's.
What is he average the rest of the season?
105 probably. Like Baz is going to be your one.
Good enough then. Yeah.
Baz is going to be your 115. Like that's what he is now. 110, 115. Like Baz could honestly push 120 if he just cleaned up his kicking, but we don't know if that'll ever happen. And Max is 105, 110 would be best case. I mean, without the tags, as I was about to say, he is 110. Like that's what he has 2 tag games where he scored a 90 and a 70, but he also has 2 games where he wasn't getting any attention and he scored a same thing too, and like an 80 and a 70. So I don't know, maybe they're blips, but he's also shown he has ceiling. Like he has 3 or 4 games now over sort of like 130. So he's a hard guy to read, but I think with Geelong, like those 2, Baz and Holmes, like the only guys that are going to score points in their whole team. Like, they're going to sap up most of those points. I think for sub 500, like it's a pretty bloody good buy. I still probably have him below Whitfield, obviously, both Saints guys, Cheese, and then it's like maybe on par with Geordie Clark, but he's a bit more volatile. As we say, not as missionary, Maxi. You got to be prepared for some curveballs.
Yeah,
got to be prepared for some curveballs. But he obviously shown he can go, 130 every now and then. So he's got 4 over 125 this year. But he's got 4 sub 90s or 91 and under. So I like Max. I think he's a good buy. Can't say much more. I just probably wouldn't have him if it was to pick 6 guys. I don't think he'd be in the top 6. He'd probably just outside.
Yeah.
So,
good buy regardless.
That's also in his favour. Do you have we can talk about Zorko for half a second.
Not with Kitty potentially back.
I think
his run rest of the season is not super great. He's like had this run now.
Well, I think you say it every video, George. We're just going to die on the hill, man. We're not picking Zorko.
Yeah.
It's not.
I wouldn't. Like, I'm not saying don't pick him. I think we've made this choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like a guy that can do 170. Like why wouldn't you want that in your team? But
Yeah, there's not many of them. I mean, no one was on him on the bloody weekend. I don't know. If
Yeah.
Sullivan, I was manning up on him when I was looking at a centre bounce off half forward, and then Zorko's just running free the whole day or the whole night.
Yeah. I'll touch on
Who
a few
haven't we
others.
spoken about? Yeah.
So Jordy Clark, I think his run's not. I think Sammy in Discord went through all the defender runs, and Jordan Clark has the worst rest of the season. I'm still okay with getting him. I think I don't know, if I'm the coach, I'm thinking like we need the ball in his hands more. So I do like him as an option at a cheap price. I think no reason why he can't do 105 plus. I've got Sicily here is discounted, a bit cheaper than Holmes. Holmes probably a bit better, but I think there were a few injuries out, or a few, like Scrimshaw was out, Barras was out. So I think they're both back. So it's quite a few points to go around in that Hawks defense. But I think I'd be surprised if he did under 100, to be honest, with Sicily. So I think you can do worse. And then the other one,
Kelsh's back this week too, or has
Okay.
travelled with the team. So yeah, once they get their forwards back, and they'll probably play 3 up there, like there's no threat of that either for Sis. So
yeah,
his kicking was just stupid clangers. It can happen with Sis sometimes.
it's just form.
Yeah, it's just form. He'll be fine. Yeah.
And Nick Martin's actually been quite popular trading this week in Discord. I don't know if it's defenses or as a forward. Maybe that's the Daniel out. Playing halfback, I think push 40 touches.
That's the benefit with him though, George. He's got that defender forward status, right? So he can sort of cover your 2 lines. I don't know, dude. I looked at his heat map. He had like almost 20 touches in the back 50.
Yeah.
But I didn't watch the game. I don't know. Some seems to still think he was playing off half forward, but with Nico, he just runs everywhere.
He is cheap as well because I think he had a bit of a calf issue at training, and he was benched. Usually his tog's pushing 100%. There was one game where his tog was a bit lower, so I think he scored bad that game. Might have been Anzac Day or 1 or 2 weeks, give or take, away from that. But I don't know if the role holds. Regardless, he scores half forward anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's fine. Like you'd love some role guarantee. I think it's fine pick though.
I think it's fine if you like it. I just like probably I like 6-7 defenders better than him, and I like probably same amount of forwards better than him. Just like it's just a weird one, but he does provide that flexibility. So I guess that is the positive with him. If have a stone or whatever on the opposite line, and something happens, you can always cover.
I think I'd almost I went Warner. I think I'd almost rather than Martin. I think Tag's going to come to Warner, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's probably true. They probably come to a few other guys as well, but I think JD said too, or put a stat up without Ridley's out for, is it like 2 months? The hammy was pretty bad, and without Ridley, I mean, we've seen what Reed's bloody doing, but I think it's the same with Nico. He's sort of just more ball to be had, as an outlet at a defense. I don't know. I think perfectly fine pick. It's just a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys I like, and my forward line's full. So got Rhino Marriage, mate.
Yeah, I think you can't. The run is too good. You can't trade this unless they set his buy.
Yep. Anyone else as a defender we didn't mention? Dale.
Dale's post buy last year was pretty poor.
I'm not trading him in now into that buy. So it's sort of like, I think if you have him, you're happy he's turned his form around, but you just know he can easily just do that again.
Yeah.
Pretty much I'd have him around that Holmes mark. So
definitely worse out there.
Yeah, definitely worse out there. Similar price. I think if you were trading one in, you'd go Holmes just because he doesn't have that terrible buy. Is that it for defenders? Yes, quite a few guys. It really is like the defenders at the moment. I know Kingy brought up some stat of all the halfbacks in their score involvements or whatever on first crack. He stupidly had Eddie Richards as the leading one, which
I think the graphic said that he's generating the most scores off halfback.
I don't know. It said halfback havoc or something, and I'm like, well, Eddie hasn't really played halfback for 18 months, mate. Maybe 12 months. Like, surely one of his laptops can tell him that. All the stats on him, but either way, like all these defenders we basically just talked about were on that list, like all of them. So it's just
Josh Dacos was on there too.
He was. So good on you, George. Mate.
Need some more points. Please go with these guys somehow.
All All right, we'll scoot along. A few mids. So is Dunkley just the best option at the price range?
Still, I think the concern is there's just so many points to go around. Obviously, Neil was down. Dunkley takes those points, but their midfield's like by far, like in terms of like collective mids, they're like far and away scoring the most at stoppage at the moment.
Yeah.
I just think he's playing really, really well, playing his role exceptional, and does go for a few clunks around the ground, contested marks, a bit like Dawson. So there's some extra points there if he can clunk a few. Just needs the inside 50 kicks just need to be grabbed. Danaher needs to come back. Yeah, that's about it. That's the only.
I mean, are you seeing how hard he works for his points at the moment?
Oh yeah.
Sometimes, Jesus, you
He
feel like
digs
he's
in.
dominating, and it's like he's just like 1-to-1 ratio, and he's on 50, and it's like Levi's on 60, and it's like he did have a good when he came back on in the last 5-6 minutes, he had a good little patch. Obviously, shot up a bit, but
yeah,
dunks is dunks. I think he does around the 110 mark. Is that what you'd say?
Yeah,
something like that. Tom Green, I know you don't like him as much.
Only because of
injury
the calf
history.
issue. But I think the points are there for him. They don't really tag. If the tag comes, it's probably going to go to Whitfield or Finn.
Yeah.
So untaggable mids are like brilliant in this game. So I'm just going to death ride. It's not really a death ride because it's not that highly owned, but he's got the game to do 115. He's never done it. I think he did 105 plus last year. Had like 2 months of rubbish. Part of that was also, I think that was when he got injured on 5, did the ankle, and his tog was low for a few weeks. So I think maybe that's why he performed poorly for a while. So look, there's no excuse as to why he doesn't do 110 rest of the season here. So I think he's a good pick as a scorer. Worry about the few soft tissues he's had over the past few years, but that's me. So don't have to think like me.
Do you want to speak about the next guy or just
Sarong? I don't know, man. Like, it's just not, the turn isn't coming because there is no turn. Like David King in North, when is it going to turn? It's just not happening. Oh boy, man, like him over Andy, like I don't even want to know how many ranks that's costing you.
Yeah, a lot. Him and Gawn over, him over Andy and Gawn is just like diabolical.
I think you wait till after the bye. Bedford might be back this week. Then he's got Port. They've showed to use Bergman as a tagger or Drew.
Far out. We're cooked. I mean, Bedford might go to Andy, but I think Bergman probably goes to Buddy Sarong.
Yeah. I think hold off till post buy. He could get to sub 500, and sub 500 as much as it's been it hasn't been the worst zone. It's just we needed 15, 20 points more a game. Or maybe 10, 15.
Even I would have taken 10, man. I would have loved to see a 1-1 score. Like it just hasn't come at all.
Yeah, just nothing over 110 since round 4.
Literally since I got him.
Yeah, so I think wait till post buy. You'll get him probably a bit cheaper. Like his break even's 134, and the chances he hits that are based on this year not super high. Potentially Bedford as well. So yeah, wait.
Yeah. Dawson, I don't know. I'm kind of glad I didn't get him the week prior. I don't know. I know he scored 150 straight up, but
yeah, he can be a bit frustrating.
He's going to get the attention. Look, it's Dawson. He'll have his 150s. He'll have his 70s. That's sort of what you got to come to expect with him. So yeah, he's there if you want him, but I don't think he'll get away from you too much.
Okay, budget pick. I don't think top 8.
Yeah. And then you've put down.
I was going to say, go on.
Jack Steele.
He's back. Look, I've owned Steele almost every year except for this year. For the past 5 years, there's times where you think, is he injured? And it happened again this year, and he actually was. I think it's not the worst for the price. I don't think I'll be going there though. I'm not sure there's a lot of wear and tear on that man. Since he ruptured his patella like 5 or 6 years ago, he's had on and off knee issues. He's played through it.
Yeah. He wasn't strapped on the weekend. I always see the little strapping.
Slight to the hold.
Well, it was a few weeks ago, but it wasn't. Maybe he hasn't been the last couple of weeks. So who knows? Yeah. Maybe he's feeling a bit better.
I think he's
around average of 110. So
West Coast this week, 60
Good on the
break
man.
even.
Good
Oh
on the
no,
man.
that's not 60 break even.
Yeah, I think it's 66, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
He's
sorry, yeah, 66.
3-round
Yeah.
average 110, and he was like 450
Yeah.
or something. So look, I don't know.
If you got no money, I don't mind it, but I think there's better out there.
I'd even probably say LDU over him, man, and
Yeah.
that's hard to say. No other mids. I mean, there is probably a few others, but that we think are relevant. Couple of sort of left field picks here. So guys that are performing not performing really well, but it's sort of that cheaper price, that value sort of guy. People probably want us to speak about Giath. How many years ago was it when he was sort of similar price and started cooking or something? And then
Richmond
you
Melbourne
did.
matchups last two.
You brought him in, and I think he made 100K or something, and then
Injured.
something like that. Yeah, similar boat again here, but yeah, as you said, just had two of the more easy matchups for defenders. I mean, he's only come back into the team a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't go there. Negative
387. Maybe if it was 300, you could entertain it, but
yeah,
probably too much. So no, we're not for that. This one, however, is all over you, George. I'll let you take the floor, mate.
I like Pete Ling.
Old JP, as they call him.
Yeah, I think the midfield's his now. They're using Berry as a sub, and like Berry and Sid have been sub a lot. So when he comes on, Rankin goes forward. More mid-time for Pete Ling.
Yeah.
When Crouch comes back, I'm not too sure. I think Crouch has been playing sore, so it's easy to say we don't need Crouch anymore when he's been playing injured. I dare say, though, it's going to be very... I don't think he can displace Pete Ling from this role in the midfield because he's kind of holding it together at the moment. Midfield got smashed on the weekend by Port, but yeah, there was probably more Saligo and Rankin and Dawson really didn't fire a shot in the first half. So
yep.
I don't have it in front of me, but I think it's 110 to 115 sort of scoring without Crouch at the moment. CBAs, I think it was 75%.
Yeah, and Rankin was down at 30, so...
Yeah, I think just on Rankin, I'm listening to Nick's today, and he basically said, we love Rankin around the ball. So I think that role will continue to be used, play more midfield, but yeah, just thought people worried about that. I think he's a good pick, 450K. What happens with Crouch, I'm not sure. Is he top 6? I think it's not out the realms with a 70% plus CBA role. But a little bit needs to go right with Crouch and stuff. So 450K, I think it's a good buy. Like if I did it in fantasy because we have unlimited trades there.
Yeah,
I feel like if Crouch comes back, that's another trade I need to make out. So I think he's excellent value. I want to do it. I think I'm thinking about it, but I don't think I can make it work long term because I'm an idiot and boost the SDK in and out and all that shit comes back to bite you. So
I think if we didn't get like Track and Warner in as forward DPPs, and probably if it was like a month ago, I think the timing's just wrong.
Yeah,
or just a bit late maybe. Like at this point of the year, going for a pick like that. Yeah, but I do definitely see the vision. I mean, I got him in draft, so hopefully it continues. In my keeper draft, so he's been good for me there. And Philippou, a lot of chat about Philippou. Obviously, a lot of people love this kid. I do actually. Whenever he kicks a goal, how nuts does he go? Like he goes berserk. He absolutely loves it, Mateus. But yeah, at 300K, obviously, he was in all of our teams before he got injured in the preseason. Finished last year really strongly, playing in the midfield, but played 100% as a forward. In his first game back. What was the quote? I think Ross said like they're going to inject him into the mids at some point.
I think he said we'll look to inject him. That was the words when referring to Philippou into the midfield. He didn't say midfield. We'll look to inject him when he was talking about the midfield after he was subtly slagging off Mokshaw and Garcia.
Look, it'll happen eventually. I just wouldn't go it now. Like after 1 week.
I think we're going to get 150K out of him when he goes in the midfield. So I think this is he's in my plan. Him and Cooper Simpson are my plans for next week.
For next week, sure. Let's see what happens.
I wouldn't blame you if you go early against West Coast.
I know people are going to argue that point. Yeah. I don't know. I just don't. It's his first game back off, a pretty lengthy injury, like leg injury, right? I get the appeal, like especially with the rookie situation, and we're trying to make cash somewhere. This is somewhere you can do it, and And he's definitely a guy that can go sort of 95. I mean, what did he do? 95 in SuperCoach on the run home last year.
It was over 100 DT.
100 in fantasy or something. So
I remember
it's there.
exactly. Yeah.
But that was obviously with a bit of mid-time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Does McRae coming in cloud he played pretty well forward? Is it going to be more of a forward with a little bit of mid-time, or is it actually going to be a fair chunk of mid-time? I'm not sure. So
I think Max King out. They've had problems forward.
He's actually a marking target. He's a marking target. So yeah, as you said, I wouldn't blame people totally for going this week against West Coast, but I'm not here to chase a score from someone like him. I don't know. In relation to that, I'd probably for me, it's weight. For me, it's definitely weight. So
yeah.
Cool. Any other picks you want to talk about, or
I got to run, so wrap it up. VC
quick captains.
VC on your ruckman, and then captain whoever you've got left over.
Yeah, I think the same. I want a VC Cherry. I don't want to get in that spot where people got done by taking a 140 or whatever, and Cherry goes berserk. And then I'll be happy to captain, Sinclair, or if you had a Nass or McRae, any of them against West Coast. After that, but thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
See ya.